You won't find a single Amish home with a freezer full of green beans. No canning, no boiling, no electricity. And yet, those same beans stay good for over a year, sometimes even two. The secret? Just salt, clean water, and patience. It's not loud. It's not modern. But it works, and it's been working for generations. Most folks have never tasted beans preserved this way. They're crisp, tangy, and alive in the best way. So how do the Amish do it? And why does it work so well, even without a fridge? Let's take a closer look. Welcome to Frugal Living Ways, where timeless Amish wisdom inspires simple, cost-saving living. Start with fresh, firm green beans, straight from the garden if you can. Trim the ends and rinse them well in cool water. Don't soak them for too long. We want clean beans, not waterlogged ones. Now take a clean glass jar, wide mouth works best, and begin packing the beans in tightly, standing them upright. Push them in gently, but snug. The tighter the pack, the less chance for air pockets. Don't leave too much empty space, but don't crush them either. Next, tuck in a few garlic cloves between the beans. Garlic doesn't just add flavor, it helps fight off harmful bacteria during the first few days of fermentation. You can also sprinkle in a pinch of red pepper flakes. That's optional, but it gives the beans a little kick, and it may help preserve them longer. Avoid fresh hot peppers, they can get mushy during fermentation. Now it's time to make your brine. Mix 1 tablespoon of natural salt, like sea salt or pickling salt, into 2 cups of clean, non-chlorinated water. Stir until fully dissolved. Don't use iodized table salt. It can interfere with fermentation and cloud the brine. Slowly pour the brine into the jar, letting it fill all the open spaces. Stop pouring when the brine reaches just below the rim. Leave at least 1 inch of space at the top. Don't fill to the brim. Fermented jars can overflow if they don't have breathing room. Now take a cabbage leaf or a fermentation weight and place it over the top of the beans to keep everything fully submerged. Anything exposed to air can spoil, and 1 floating bean is all it takes. Don't skip this step. Exposure to air is the fastest way to ruin a jar. Cover the jar loosely with a lid, not too tight. You want to keep dust out, but let gases escape. A cloth and rubber band works too, especially in warmer rooms. Never screw the lid on tight. Pressure can build up and cause leaks or worse. Now store the jar in a cool, dark place. A cupboard, pantry, or root cellar works well. Leave it for 7 to 14 days. The exact time depends on the temperature and how tangy you like your beans. After about a week, you'll notice bubbles. That's a good sign. By day 10 or so, open the lid slightly and give it a sniff. It should smell sharp, salty, and sour, never rotten. Once they taste how you like them, move the jar to a cooler place or even a root cellar. They'll keep fermenting slowly, but they'll stay preserved for a year or more. Don't toss the brine. It's alive, flavorful, and useful for starting your next batch. A lot of folks see a jar full of beans and instantly think, oh, canning. But this isn't canning. There's no boiling, no vacuum seal, no pressure cooker on the stove. And yet, it still works. In some cases, it actually works better. Let's clear this up. Canning means using heat to kill bacteria, then sealing the jar airtight. It's shelf-stable, but the high heat also kills off most of the enzymes, and sometimes the flavor too. Pickling usually means soaking food in vinegar. It's fast and flavorful, but it's not alive. The acid preserves the food, but the microbes are long gone. Fermenting, what the Amish do here is different. There's no vinegar, no heat, just salt, water, and time. Natural bacteria already on the beans begin converting sugars into lactic acid, which safely preserves the food while keeping it raw, crisp, and probiotic. It's a living process, and the result isn't just preserved beans. It's nutrient-rich, gut-healthy, and flavorful in a way canned beans never are. This is why Amish families still ferment certain foods, especially green beans, sauerkraut, pickles, and even some fruits. It requires no electricity, no special tools, just patience, knowledge, and a cool place to store your jars. And when it's done right, it can keep food safe and edible for years, without a single spark of modern power. So, how does this actually work? It starts with salt. When you dissolve salt in water, it creates a brine that's strong enough to block bad bacteria, the kind that makes food rot. But here's the secret. There are good bacteria too. already living on the surface of fresh beans. They're called lactobacillus. These good microbes can survive in salty water, and they start working almost immediately. As they feed on natural sugars in the beans, they produce lactic acid. That acid is what preserves the food. It gently lowers the pH, making the environment too sour for harmful bacteria or mold to grow. No spoilage, no rot, just slow, steady preservation. And here's the bonus. While canning kills everything, fermentation keeps the good stuff alive. You're not just storing beans, you're creating probiotics, which support gut health, digestion, and even the immune system. It's food that doesn't just last. It nourishes. That's why so many off-grid families, homesteaders, and Amish households still lean on fermentation. Not just to save food, but to make it better than when it was fresh. Once your green beans have fermented for about 7 to 14 days, and the taste is right, it's time to think about storage. The best place? Somewhere cool, dark, and quiet. A root cellar is ideal. But a pantry, basement shelf, or even a kitchen cabinet away from the stove will work just fine. Direct sunlight is the enemy. Too much light or warmth can cause the beans to soften or spoil early. Once the beans are where you want them, now's the time to seal the jar tightly. You don't want fresh air sneaking in once fermentation is complete. Sealing the jar stops the process and locks in the flavor. Label each jar with the date you packed it. It's easy to forget how long something's been sitting, and this way you'll always know. So, how long do they last? Properly fermented and stored, Amish-style green beans can stay good for over a year, often up to 2. They don't just survive, they improve with age. The flavor deepens, and the beans stay firm if they were packed right. But even with the best care, it's smart to check each jar before eating. Here's what to look for. Brine should still be clear or slightly cloudy, that's normal. No foul smell. It should be tangy, salty, and fresh. No mold floating at the top, especially on a cabbage leaf or weight. If anything smells rotten, slimy, or sharp in the wrong way, toss it. But with the right steps, that's rare. Store your jars in a steady place, keep the lids clean, and check them now and then. You'll have crisp, tangy green beans that outlast the season, and maybe the year. The Amish aren't alone in this. All around the world, families have been preserving vegetables in brine, quietly, patiently, just like this. One person wrote, "We do this in Germany. We call them dilly beans. My mother packed them every fall. In her home, a whole shelf of pickled beans stood in rows like little green soldiers, waiting for winter stews and Sunday meals." Another person wrote from rural Pennsylvania, "My grandma did this every year. No vinegar, just salt water and garlic. I'd watch her press the beans down with a rock wrapped in cloth. That memory stuck not because of flavor, but because it worked." Year after year. From India, a mate shared, "We use this exact method for carrots and mangoes. We don't call it fermentation, but it's the same process." In Macedonia, this method becomes part of a winter staple. Russian salad, filled with fermented green beans, peppers, and root vegetables, chopped and folded into creamy mixes during the cold months. In France, it's part of the old tradition of pickled mixes, where green beans, cauliflower, and carrots share space in large ceramic rocks passed down through the family. Back in Amish country, women still line their cellar shelves with jars that never saw a stove. Just cool brine, salt, and trust in a method older than electricity. And then there were those quiet success stories in the comments. "Mine lasted 2 years. Still crisp after 18 months. No mold, no fridge, just a good seal and a dark place." This isn't just one family's trick. It's a global pattern, a legacy of care and patience that keeps finding its way back into homes like yours. Once you've tried green beans, don't stop there. The same brine, 1 tablespoon of natural salt to 2 cups water, can work wonders with so many other garden favorites. Carrots. Slice them into sticks, add fresh dill, maybe a clove of garlic. They stay crunchy, with a flavor that deepens over time. Bays. Use thick slices or wedges. Add a bay leaf, maybe some black peppercorns. The brine turns a deep ruby red, and the taste gets richer after a few weeks. Garlic. Whole peeled cloves. No need for extras unless you want a spicy batch, then toss in a dried chili or 2. It mellows as it ferments, turning soft, fragrant, and sweet. Green tomatoes. Perfect when you've got a basket full before frost. Halve or quarter them. Add mustard seeds, celery seed, or just plain brine. The flavor is tangy, complex, and beautifully southern. Cauliflower. Break it into small florets. Add turmeric for color or cumin for warmth. In 2 weeks, it's tender but still firm, like an old-style relish. Radish. Slice thin or leave whole. The color bleeds into the brine, and the sharp bite softens into something earthy and satisfying. Peppers. Mild or hot, whole or sliced. Add garlic and a touch of oregano for a full-bodied ferment that holds up for months. Just remember, use the same brine ratio. Flavor it your way. Store it just like the beans, cool, dark, and sealed after fermentation. The process stays the same. The flavors are yours to explore. You don't need fancy gear to get this right, but a few questions come up again and again. Can I use plastic lids? Yes, as long as they're clean and not airtight during fermentation. The gases need to escape. Once fermentation's done and you seal the jar, plastic lids work just fine. How do I know it's spoiled? Trust your senses. If it smells rotten like garbage or ammonia, or if the beans are slimy and mushy, it's time to toss it. Fermented food should smell sharp, tangy, and salty, never foul. What if I see a white film on top? That's usually comm yeast, a harmless, natural surface yeast that can form when the pH is just right. It's not dangerous, and you can scoop it off gently if it forms. But if it's fuzzy, green, or black, that's mold. Different story. How do I stop mold from forming? Keep everything fully submerged under the brine. That's the golden rule. Mold needs oxygen. No air, no mold. Use a weight, a cabbage leaf, or anything that keeps the food tucked safely beneath the surface. Get those basics right, and the rest tends to take care of itself. Start small. Just 1 jar. A handful of fresh green beans, a little salt, some water, and a quiet shelf in your pantry. You don't need to do a dozen quarts or buy anything fancy. Just try it once, the old way. See how it changes the way you think about storing food. And if your grandmother or great-grandmother used to do something similar, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear how long her jars lasted, or what she used to tuck inside, because every story helps keep these methods alive. And if this kind of slow, simple wisdom speaks to you, tap subscribe. I'll show you how the Amish preserve tomatoes in cold ash for 6+ months, how they keep eggs without a fridge, and dozens more ways they live without waste, noise, or worry, and how you can do the same in your modern houses or with low budget. It's not just about food. It's about bringing back what works and passing it on.